You're at the center of all things. You're in the middle. There's an up and there's a down. There's a left and a right and a front and a back. And only your perspective of these things is always your perspective, and no one else has your perspective. No one else can see your left and your right, and your front and your back, and your up and your down. Only you can. And when you're next to someone, they have a different perspective of that. Because you're next to them, and they're next to you. And you're in the center of all things because there's a past, a present, and a future. And you're in the present, which is the center between the past and the future. And only your perspective of these things, only your perspective of the past, only your perspective of the future, and even your perspective of the present. But you're at the center, and your perspective sees all. And when your perspective of the center changes, so does your perspective of the past. And your perspective is that the past creates the present, and the present creates the future. So what's your perspective of the past? Because you can change that. And if you can change your perspective of the past, that means you can change your perspective of the future. And all there is your perspective. And it doesn't matter what anybody else says about you and their thoughts about your life and what you've done and where you've been and where you're going. It only matters your perspective, because that's all there is. They're not at the center. You are. All these rules and regulations and common ideals, they're simply icons of a collective perspective that has nothing to do with you. And what you want relies on your own perspective. And you can shift the present by changing your perspective of the past, because you're connected to all things. You're connected to everything around you, and your left and your right, and your up and down, and back and forth, and your past and your present and your future. And so if you want something to change in your life, you can simply shift your perspective of the past, and it'll be shifted to change your present.